Hey y'all, Ramdano here, coming at you from North Carolina. Well, hope you enjoyed last week's portion of the trail from Springer Mountain to Neel Gap. You know, they say that 25% of the people that start their through hike drop out along this section of the trail, and they quit as soon as they get to Neel Gap. That's what all the boots in the tree means, that they've given up, they've tied their shoes together and thrown them up there as a sign that they don't need them anymore. Well, to see the last half of that section of the Appalachian Trail between Springer Mountain and Neel Gap, where everybody calls, where 25% of the people call it quits, stick around. So just came up out of Horse Gap up this hill. Whatever this vegetation is, I don't know if it's oaks coming from acorns or what, but I thought it was pretty neat. And we're walking this ridge line now. I'm walking with Ishmael. He's named after the Abraham's son, but it's also from Moby Dick. So lots of things going on there, but anyway, he's from the Philippines. So we got about the same pace. He's a little older than me. He's retired, but he's out here loving the trail. He's done the JMT, so he's no stranger to long distance. Anyway, we are sallying forth. So the thing about the Appalachian Trail is that it is very much a social trail, but there's no agendas or anything. Everybody out there is just enjoying the trail and enjoying each other, enjoy hiking, and so you strike up conversations and you develop friendships. And so this is Ishmael and a friendship that I developed out there and enjoyed hiking for 2 days with him. He's a great guy. Our pace was pretty close to the same. I was a little faster than he was, but that was only because my legs were a little longer, but he was always right there with me. Whenever I would stop to take a break, he would be just a few minutes behind, and so we had the chance to just bond and talk about each other's families and life on the trail. And so it was just a really neat friendship and really neat friendship to make up. And so I look forward to following him on his through hike as he continues on north. He is somewhere around Gatlinburg and continues to send me pictures of his trail experience and what's going on. And so the trail really does provide good friendships and stuff. And one of the things that talking about provision of the trail is that Ishmael, during this stop right here when we took this picture, was talking about he was really looking forward to trail magic. He just couldn't wait for his first trail magic. And we'd only been on the trail for 2 days now. And so what happens just a few minutes later? Ishmael gets his wish and the trail provides, and trail magic shows up. And so we were hiking down into a gap, and the guy coming up was a trail runner, and he said, "Hey, there's trail magic down there. It's in the back of my truck. Help yourselves, take as much as you want, and leave your trash and everything there, and I'll take care of it for you." So just really neat how trail magic just shows up. And as I've been following Ishmael on his trip, he has had other opportunities for trail magic, and so that was pretty neat for him to experience that. So we are coming up on the climb out of Cooper's Gap, where we just found trail magic. Ishmael had his first trail magic of the trail. We were just talking about that when we took a break, about how he hadn't seen any trail magic yet. Of course, it's way early, but anyway, he got it, so that was cool. So whoever that was that had the caffeine in a can for us, much appreciated. And we'll keep on climbing. Well, don't know how much of a green tunnel I'll have on this trip, but here's part of it. Coming through this rhododendron forest. going downhill, probably 3 miles from Neal Gap, I figure, less to Justice. Justice Creek's probably at the bottom, and that was the 6 miles between Hawk and Justice, and that's the first true water between heading northbound after Hawk Mountain Shelter. So you have to camel up there, and of course when we came through Cooper Gap there was trail magic, and I also saw a water cache down there as well, so people looking out for hikers. That's great. Anyway, it's pretty neat walking through the green tunnel. Oh, just about fell. Probably need to put this thing up. Grade's getting a little steeper. These tracking poles have saved my posterior more than once. Alright, out here for now. So, this is Justice Creek. Obviously a great water source here. Of course, with any gap or creek down at the bottom, what goes down must come up. I don't know if I want to carry extra water up there or not. I got a liter. We'll see. Okay, so can't remember if I've talked to you since lunch or not, but maybe I'll just repeat myself if I have. Had lunch at Gooch Shelter. Met a few other folks there. Some of them are thru hikers. All the ones that were thru hikers were no-bow, of course, by this time. But sat there for about 30 minutes. Got me a whole bunch of protein. Then we climbed. We're descending down into Neal Gap, and now we're climbing up out of Neal Gap, and the next mountain should be Ramrock, which is probably that high peak. But anyhow, kind of where we're at. After lunch I had for about 30-45 minutes I had a really good protein high going. Now I'm kind of slowing down. Ishmael speeded up before lunch. It's almost like he found a different gear, a higher gear, and I dropped a cylinder. I don't know which one, but anyway, we're good. It's all good. The flora and fauna are just starting to pop out. All the purples and yellows, and it's just killer. So this little catwalk, awful pretty. Another week, 10 days, and all the trees will be popped out, and you won't be able to see near the views that you can now. Anyway, I'll touch base with you when I get to Ramrock. We're either staying at Woody Gap, possibly Ledges after that. We talked about Standing or Lance Creek campsite. Problem with that is that would put us 16-mile day. Don't know that my leg's up to that. Also don't get why I didn't take some vitamin I at lunch. That was stupid. That might have helped. When I roll it out with my tracking pole, it just makes it worse. When I stretch it, it makes it worse. Not sure what's going on there. If anybody knows, send me a comment. Anyhow, problem with staying at Ledges or Ramrock
there's some campsites there, but we've got a storm moving in. It's going to be really windy tonight, and my tarp set up, wind comes right underneath it. I was already cold last night, so really need to be down off the mountain, but that would put us at Woody if we decide not to go all the way to Lance Creek, which I don't see any way in the world I can do that. Anyhow, enough of that. Talk to you at Ramrock Mountain. Okay, so we got to Woody Gap, which was right at 12 miles, a little more than 12, probably 12.7, I think. And we decided that we're going to press on and try to get to Lance Creek. There's I believe it's a Dalton Trail head, partway between. It's half a mile short of Lance Creek campsites. That if we have to, we can bail there, but otherwise we're going to try to push through. We got storm coming in, weather, rain. Sunday, it's like it's showing around 2 o'clock. So if we push on to Lance Creek, then that sets us up for about an 8-mile day to Neal Gap. So we should be able to get that done in about the time the rain hits. So we're pushing on. I'll let you know if we complete that mission or not. Ramsey out.
So as we left Woody Gap, we immediately entered the Blood Mountain Wilderness area, and this is an area that's predominantly dominated by a lot of uphills, particularly the huge hill of Blood Mountain that a lot of people talk about, a lot of people dread. To be honest with you, it was not as difficult as coming up out of Winding Stair Gap or Tellico Gap in North Carolina. It was quite an arduous climb, but it wasn't as bad as I've heard about on other people's videos and stuff. So, but anyway, it was a very neat climb, a lot of good views. This is one of the views here. I believe this was Preaching Rock, and it was dominated by pretty much 180-degree views, and you could just see forever. And the weather cooperated with us on this particular trip and wasn't hazy or too bad cloudy, and you could just see forever. So these are good spots like that once you climb up, to get up here and stop and rest and just look at all of God's glory. And that's what we did.
All right, okay, after the climb up out of Woody, you'd think that's the summit, right? I bet you it's a false summit. Let's see. Yep, just as I thought. False summit. Wonder if that one is the real summit. I don't know. Let's go find out. Hey, well, I think we summited. It's up there, but the trail doesn't go up there. It's like we're kind of smoothing out and going downhill now, so maybe we'll be in good shape till we get to our mark. Out.
Okay, so this is our campsite and our mark for the night. We did make it. It was a 16-mile day, which was tough, but the previous to that, the longest day I'd had was probably 12. So in any case, we made it here to the campsite. This is Lance Creek campsite. So if you notice in the background, there's a lot of trees down, a lot of devastation, and that's the results of Hurricane Irma. And we saw a lot of that in the woods with huge trees that had been knocked down by Hurricane Irma. So this campsite had tent pads. The bad part about the tent pads is they're sloped for drainage, and so that doesn't do too good for when you're sleeping on them, particularly in my sleep setup that tends to push me out the bottom of the tent on a sloped tent pad like that. So right before you get to the actual campsite proper, there is, when you cross over Lance Creek, there are some stealth campsites there's such a large area you might mistake them for the site, but that's a better place to camp because the places there are flatter, and you won't be as apt to go out the bottom of your tent or fly as you will in this case.
All right, so we're coming out of Lance Creek. It's called Lance Creek Restoration Camp Site. Restoration because they've got areas that are roped off and they don't want you sitting there, or camping there rather. There's also a lot of trees. Looks like Irma came through, and I wasn't thinking about it before. There's a lot of stuff that was down during the summer. You could tell because the leaves are, of course, brown, but they're still on it, so they never got pushed off by the buds coming through in the fall. But anyway, probably best night's sleep. I slept in there, all my capelline and my puffy, and stayed. Was warm. Matter of fact, I was a little too warm. I sweated a little bit, but anyway, sleep better that way, warm, than I do cold. Got up this morning, woke up about 5:30, went to bed about 9:30, or went to bed about 9. Got to sleep about 9:30, and maybe woke up 2 or 3 times during the night, just because for whatever reason they created tent pads and they didn't create them level. So, you know, I kept working my way down the hill out the bottom of my fly. So anyhow, it's all right. Best night's sleep on the trail so far, including my last hike. So that works. We are starting the ascent up the Blood Mountain. There's actually a couple mountains all together in there that really before you get to Blood Mountain, but I think everybody just calls it Blood Mountain. It's about 4 miles up. Some of it will get worse than what this is. Passed some bear scat on the trail right above camp. Looked like it was from yesterday or day before yesterday. A little dusty, so it must have got dust kicked up by hikers from yesterday. But anyhow, so a little gray outside. Hopefully we'll have a little bit of a view, or whatever view the good Lord gives us from Blood Mountain. That'd be great. And we got 7.3, I believe, total miles to do to get to Neal Gap. That'll be my end of my hike. Say goodbye to Ishmael. And he continues on. And I go home to the Matrix, unfortunately. But someday, I'll be out here doing my thru hike. So, this isn't real hard of a up right here, but it's coming. Chat with you later. All right, we'll continue our Blood Mountain ascent. Just came through Neal Gap. We're at 3631 now. We got to go to 4,442 to get to the top of Blood, so that's about 800 feet, and I think I'm about 1.5 miles away. And it looks like the terrain gets steeper. So, making good time. Came through Jared. There's about 20 of the No Bear Canister gang. And here we go into the midst. So we're continuing the mission. Probably won't be a view at the top, but we got a great view along the way. Out. Yep, not much of a view. Probably not gonna have one. Once again, we go through the woods of Mordor. Still kind of neat, awful, kind of ethereal. If that's the correct pronunciation of that word. Anyway, a footpath for those who want fellowship with the wilderness. It is that, if you let it be. Alright, we're at Blood Mountain Cabin after the haul up, and this is my view. It's alright. Got a good look at clouds too. Had good views all weekend. Can't ask for batting 1,000 now, can you? But anyway, that's it. This is the infamous Blood Mountain cabin. Pretty cool. Got clouds moving in through the cabin. It's awesome. Well, we are starting our descent from Blood Mountain down into Neal Gap. Kind of hard to tell the trail behind us, but anyway, pretty much straight up. I'd hate to walk up it. I think I just did, just from the northbound. Anyway, still in the clouds, and probably will be even when we get to Neal Gap. But so far so good, and I was able to meet up with Ishmael up at the top. He was only 30 minutes behind me, so met the Boy Scout troop up there, so that's cool. Anyhow, we are coming down. A lot of it is walking over rocks like this. And if they don't mark it, it's kind of hard to tell. Some of the trails just go everywhere. Anyway, probably won't film anymore unless something happens until I get down to the gap. Talk to you then. Alright, here we come at the end for me. It's where 25% of the people stop that attempt a through hike. And this is Neal Gap. I'm gonna make sure I don't get run over here, and then I'm gonna walk all the way to the portal. The only place on the AT that is where you walk through a building. And there's the trio boots or shoes, where people either quit or I don't know. Hey there.
How's it going?
All right, how you doing today?
Doing good.
And just like that, we're through the only place on the AT that crosses under a building. Chat with you later. Okay, I'm here at Neal Gap with my buddy Ishmael. Ishmael is a through hiker, and he is going all the way to Katahdin. Ishmael, what do you think about that?
Well, I'm hoping I'll make it there.
You're gonna make it, buddy.
Yes,
You'll make
definitely,
it.
Yep. The only thing will stop me maybe is injury.
Well, you just have to get off the trail for a day or so and recuperate.
Yes. That's
But anyway, we've been hiking together for 2 days now, and just really had a blast getting to know him and hiking with him, and it's just been a good time. And I enjoyed meeting you, and hope to keep in touch with you and over the years, and I'm sure I'll see you somewhere.
Yeah, yes, Ron,
Yeah,
definitely.
that's great. Yeah.
I really enjoyed the hiking with you.
Yeah,
You're
it was
such
fun,
a great
wasn't it?
man.
Well,
yeah.
thank you. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
All right, you have a
All
great
right,
hike.
thank you.
Look forward to seeing you finish, okay?
Yes, thank you so
Yeah,
much. Yep.
yeah. For me, the AT is just a peaceful time of being in the wilderness and just seeing creation, just spending time with me and the Creator and our thoughts, and just it's just really neat experience every single time I go. And I get out there and I just see the example of nature and just things that couldn't possibly have been created by man.
and you run into people and you make good friends, and that is like I did in Ishmael, and that is something that's really neat. If you heard earlier, my earlier videos, I talked about I was excited to go and hoped that I would find solitude, and I did find solitude, but I also found camaraderie, and that's something that I enjoy just as much. So hopefully you got something out of this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment down in the comment box below if you have any questions about it or anything to add. I'd appreciate if you'd hit that big old red subscribe button either down below or at the end of this video. And as always, appreciate you, and we'll see you out there.